All right. Good morning. Welcome to the January 4th meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. I'm going to forego all the announcements because this is all about order conditions. We're recording. We have a quorum of 4, possibly 5. At the moment, we're covered. We're moving forward. First up is the vote minutes, December 13, 2023. Anybody?
So moved, O'Brien.
Second, Gladfelter.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of December 13th. We're voting. Betsy.
Gladfelter, aye.
Matthews, aye. Kevin.
O'Brien, aye.
Maury.
Carlo Hawks, aye.
It is unanimous with this quorum. We have accepted the minutes of December 13th. Next up, minutes of December 20th, 2023. Anyone?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Gladfelter, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of December 20th. We're voting to accept the minutes. I don't know if Courtney's in. Betsy.
Gladfelter, aye.
Courtney, you there? All right. Matthews, aye. Kevin.
O'Brien, aye.
Maury.
Carlo Hawks, aye.
It is unanimous with this quorum. We have accepted the minutes of December 20th. Next up are vote orders of conditions. First up, James and Linda Hussey, 45 Clipper Lane, Falmouth, Mass.
This is a proposed deck and addition. Melissa's in, Mr. Chairman. This is a proposed deck and addition and a remodel of the existing house with mitigation. Easy beans.
All right. Anybody have anything they want to see in that? Courtney, are you in now?
I don't think you can hear us, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Melissa?
Melissa, you're on mute.
This is the one that has that it looks like it's a brand new fence in the backyard.
Oh, this is the one with the fence in the wetland in the
the fence in the wetland.
Okay.
And yeah, the fence can't be more than 5 years old. I'm sorry we closed it out so quickly because I wanted to look into that more. Maybe conservation can look into it, and the neighbor's big plastic fence that's also in the wetland. It's completely these fences, they're also to the south side of the wetland, so they're blocking all sun going into the wetland. I'd like to see at least the part that's in the wetland be removed. That's in the wetland that Tom actually has on his plan. See that removed. If not, the wetland or the fence that's in the rest of the wetland removed.
There's a small corner of the existing fence that is in the delineated wetland, so you want that removed.
That's in Tom's
That little
delineated
triangle.
wetland. Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm wondering if the rest of the yard actually would be wetland if that fence weren't there. So hoping that maybe conservation can go down and peek at the fence, because that fence, there's no permitting on the fence. Then we can
No, there is no permitting. Well,
yeah,
there's permitting on the fence. All right, I'll write that it has to be removed prior to us signing off on the building permit.
Yeah, and then Tom also mentioned, and it's in the minutes, that that he didn't think that the owners would be averse to elevating the fence that exists 6 to 8 inches, because
That's usually what is required in our
yeah
buffer zone.
yeah.
So what are we asking for? The fence to be removed or raised?
I'd love to see it removed, but we didn't discuss it, so that we don't know if the fence is permitted or whatever. So
That it was in pictures for a long time.
Pardon me?
We discussed the fact that there was pictures showing the fence for a very long time.
Yeah, but the fence that we suspect was there was not a full board, 8 foot high down to the ground no light going through fence, that perhaps it matched the,
But it might have been put in before those were the regulations. I know you say it looks new, it looks like it's been repaired, but we don't know what it was like before.
well, that's why I'm asking that's why I'm asking conservation to look into it.
We can look into, we'll look into it. We'll send them a letter, but do you want to condition the addition and the deck? Do you want to permit that with the condition that they remove the fence outside of the delineated wetland on the plan? So that's a little
Yes.
corner of the property.
Yes, that's a start. So at least they get the idea. And then to elevate the rest of the fence 6 to 8 inches, or to cut off the bottom 6 to 8 inches of the fence
Well,
to
if
allow
there-
for,
well, if there's an opening in the fence at the bottom, it's not like animals aren't gonna figure out how to go around. It's more damage to go in there and start redigging fencing, I think. And raising it. I don't know. I'm just saying, it's not like now
Yeah.
there is a big opening now. That whole end is open.
yeah,
So-
The whole
the one
end
end is open because the other end is attached to the neighbor's fence, which is a big vinyl thing that's also in the
wetland.
you know, up to the wetland. Yeah. So it's I mean, that also goes down to the ground. So I don't know if conservation wants to, if the department wants to go out and look at both
Why don't we look at
fences.
the fence as a separate issue, as a enforcement order?
Well, we
We'll have a-
sometimes, I mean, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, sometimes we do handle little enforcement issues through orders like mitigation that was removed. So if the board wants, we can tell them to remove the part of the fence. But I mean, basically the wetland that it's in is all lawn area. So they did it through hydric soils. So it's not like removing the fence is going to like damage any more vegetation more, because I'm looking at a picture of it right now.
Okay.
It just looks like it's one of those instances, and the only thing I can remember is we had a couple of the instances in West Falmouth where people had just mowed and mowed and mowed and made lawn area, but the lawn was actually hydric soils. So we characterized it as a wetland. So if the board wants, we can put a condition that they remove that corner of the fence that's in the wetland and put it 10 feet from the delineated wetland line. And then just, that'll do this to the fence. It'll be like square and then they'll do that. We can
Well,
do
That corner, that corner is part of the mitigation. And
yeah.
presumably they would put in at least facultative wetland plants there.
Oh, you're right.
And
So
so
we-
the wetland is going to continue to grow because we all know that wetlands like to grow. So it would be nice to let that wetland grow.
You got enough, Jen?
We could, yeah, I mean, we could have them put facultative plants in that lawn area, move the stockade portion of that corner and just have it make like a post and rail. And
Or how
that
about
way
even
it would
remove it?
delineate the mitigation, do that post and rail, delineate like that
Protect it.
one single rail, post and rail, remove that out of the wetland and have them plant facultative wetland plants in the wetland part and layer it out with more facultative and upland plants coming towards that little delineated fence. I got it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a motion to issue an order of conditions as discussed.
Carlo Hawk second.
I have my sound back, but I didn't hear the beginning of this, so I shouldn't vote unless you need a quorum.
No, we have a quorum.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Courtney. All right, we, excuse me, we have a motion and a second to issue an order of conditions as discussed. Anything else? Melissa?
Just quickly, if Jen and Alyssa, if you two could look into the neighbor's fence, please, while we're at it. Just
We can try.
thanks.
Fences are kind of difficult sometimes, but we will give it the good old college try.
Yeah.
Near mouth is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, if they weren't so solid and high and blocking all
We got
sunlight
it.
from
We'll
the
look into
wetland.
it.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we're voting to issue an order of conditions. Betsy,
I felt her eye.
Matthews, aye. Kevin,
O'Brien, aye.
Maury,
Carlo Hawk's eye.
Melissa?
Right, guy.
It is unanimous with this quorum. We have issued an order of conditions. Next up, McDougal's Cape Cod Marine Service, Inc., 145 Falmouth Heights Road, Falmouth, Mass. Jen?
Yes, this is both maintenance and improvement dredging. It is a commercial facility within Falmouth Inner Harbor. Usually improvement dredging is kind of a really high bar to meet. So if the board feels that they've met the performance standards for improvement dredging, you can go forward with issuing an order of conditions. And it's the improvement dredging is just in the area of that small dock that is next to the travel lift.
Melissa?
Yeah, as I pointed out in that, they seem to be doing all of that for one slip. It seems awfully disruptive for one slip.
Yes, they've met the conditions for improvement dredging that you put out in the
It is a marine district also.
That's true. It is.
I'll make a
All right.
motion to issue an order of conditions as discussed.
Third, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to issue an order of conditions. Anything else? All right, I'm sorry, Melissa. Ms. Bergeron, good morning.
Morning, no worries. We did get DMF comments, so there is a time of year restriction in the area that should be incorporated.
Thank you. We'll put the toy in.
All right, anything else? All right, we're voting. Betsy?
Gladfelter, aye.
Courtney?
Bird, aye.
Matthews, aye. Kevin?
O'Brien, aye.
Maury?
Hello, Hawk's Eye.
Melissa?
Since it's a marine district,
It is unanimous. We have issued an order of conditions. Next up, excuse me, Eileen O'Connell, trustee, Eileen F. O'Connell, Revocable Living Trust, 26 Shaker Lane, Falmouth, Mass. Jen?
Pull out that plan, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking for a fence.
this is the one where they hacked down everything between the house and whatever that little body of water is there. They're putting on an addition.
Orange Pond.
Yeah, Orange Pond.
So they want to do a proposed addition in the front, which is in the B and A. No, just clips the A zone, but it's in the front of the structure. Covered porch, proposed addition, and proposed paver walkway. Looks like a pretty tight lot, and they have the mitigation being wrapped around. Oops.
Did Tom give you a new plan?
Yes,
Yes, he did.
Okay.
it reflects mitigation being relocated to where the major portion is. The tree was relocated more to the middle of that. The backyard will be restoration. I do have a note, something about add mature oaks. I think we needed them surveyed on the plan. I'm not sure what that means now.
Who does it say add mature oaks?
Must be a surveying thing.
There were a whole bunch of spots that had been hacked down between the house and Bourne's Pond that when oaks get cut down and then they send off all the shooters, there were a lot of shooters that were shoulder height on me, and obviously there were 6-inch oaks that had been there that were setting off shooters. I remember that. They have to move the kayak rack.
With kayak. Was the kayak rack shown on the plan? No.
Yes, they're moving it closer to the deck now and restoring that area.
Okay.
Maybe we should require them to let those oaks they cut cut back all the suckers except for one and let them come.
So
there are a lot of them.
Maury, does that work?
It works with the one in my front yard.
Anything else? All right, what are you thinking?
Make a motion to issue an order of conditions as discussed. Gladfelter.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to issue an order of conditions. Anything else? All right, we're voting. Betsy,
Gladfelter, aye.
Courtney,
Bird eye.
Matthews, aye. Kevin,
O'Brien, aye.
Maury,
Carla Hawk's eye.
Melissa.
Right, guy.
It is unanimous. We have issued an order of conditions. Next up, Gary V. and Janet L. Bacon, 40 Bridge Street, Falmouth, Mass. And for the record, Kevin, you're not on this quorum.
It's pronounced Vashon.
Vashon,
Yep.
This is,
okay. No disrespect intended.
we're rebuilding the licensed pier within its licensed location. Alyssa, this is the one where they are cutting their mitigation, correct? Okay.
Yes.
So make a note that please stop cutting your mitigation.
They're removing some patio that they had added.
Yeah. They're removing patio.
And I don't know, what's it called? The big bluestone stuff that they put in the water at the head of the.
They're gonna
Yeah, there's
remove
a
that
note
now.
on the revised plan, correct, Alyssa, that they're removing those rocks?
Yes.
And replacing with beach grass.
Okay,
All right, anything, anybody want to see in there?
was there? Is this the one with the extra floats? No,
No,
Because
the
the
float,
No,
the
but-
float
float
was.
at the end had to be shortened.
Yeah, it
okay,
was
And it's
longer.
already in the,
yeah,
make a motion to issue an order of conditions as discussed.
Bird
Tug
second.
second.
All right, we have a motion in multiple seconds to issue an order of conditions. Anything else? All right, we're voting. Betsy,
Gladfelter, aye.
Courtney,
Bird eye.
Matthews, aye. Maury,
Carla Hawk's eye.
Melissa.
Right, guy.
It is unanimous. We have issued an order of conditions. Next up, Black Beach Harbor Head Association, 139 Little Neck Bars Road, Falmouth, Mass.
this is the gate. So the gate and 11 feet of fencing on either side, Alyssa, or is it 11 feet total?
Total.
Total, so 5.5 feet of fencing on either side with some sort of swinging door gate in the middle. The only thing that the town would like to see is that the gate does not swing into the bike path part, just in case it's large enough where it might impede travel on the bike path. They need to remove the sign that they have on the town's leased property. That is a private sign for a neighborhood and it should not be on town property. They have to remove the sign. The gate does not swing out towards the bike path like is shown on Merrill's engineering's plan. And those are the things that the town would like to see done.
All right, Maury,
And that no lock on the gate at any time. Which they said it would never be locked.
Jen,
And, pardon?
yeah, so, but a condition, a finding should be that there was a letter from the BBHHCA treasurer. My letter came through the West Falmouth Association, but it's a public letter
Yeah.
saying that they would not lock the gate.
Correct.
So that's it.
It's in the record.
Yeah, but that should be a finding also. And
Okay,
then you're putting in a condition.
okay.
Yeah,
And-
I'll make the finding, I'll attach the condition to it. put the finding that the sign is on town leased property and is not authorized by the town to be there. It must be removed before the installation of the fence, which, I mean, they're just gonna put signs all over that fencing anyway to deter people from going through it and scare people. Well, they are. I mean, let's just, is it going to be, I don't think there was any discussion about whether it was going to be chain link versus like stockade.
They showed stockade.
They showed stockade.
They should
in
chain link
fact.
for the sides though, for the wings.
Chain
They
link on
should
the side.
stockade for the gate and chain link, black chain link for the sides.
And that, I think that if the town on their town's leased land where they have their sign now should say, access to Black Beach, not no trespassing. Just, I mean, it's the town's property and there should probably be one at the head of Chapel Road, access to water, Black Beach. I don't know. I mean,
That'd be great. They wouldn't build a fence that way.
maybe we
probably.
shouldn't put it in this finding.
What
Maybe
the
it should
sign,
be in
what the
order.
sign says is no beach access.
Pardon?
What the sign says is no beach access.
Yes,
So
exactly,
that could just be removed
correct.
as an element of the sign.
But they'll put it on the actual fence.
But
So
can't
if we
put it on
had
their
some-
fence.
So Maury's saying that if we put on the sign that goes on their fence, if they have any signs on their fence, they
No,
cannot deny that there's public beach access.
well, I don't know if we can condition.
think
I
we can do
don't, that's something I would have to check with legal if we could do.
Yeah, we can't put it on their fence.
Oh, we
You
would
can just
put
say
it
no
on
signs on the fence, but
Be on the bike path so people would know. Because what's gonna happen is when people see the fence there, they're just gonna ride their bikes by. They're not even gonna stop thinking they can't get through. So if there was just a sign on the town's property, leased property, that says access to Black Beach, or just something so that they know they can go through there.
So what I will do is I will check with legal on that, Maury.
Okay,
And if legal says it's okay to put in the order and condition that, to put a sign that says access to Black Beach. Because again, this all comes down to the legal issue of whether Little Neck Bars Road
is a
is
private road.
legal access to Black Beach.
Okay.
That's it as, and you know how I feel about this, Maury.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
You
So let's
know,
not
I
put it
am
in the
the
order.
biggest
Let's-
advocate for public access to public beaches and public property.
So let's
but
not put that.
There's
in the
that
order.
legal issue, and that's what's cloudy.
That will be
I'll
something. that
check,
we-
and if she says, I will put it in the order.
Okay, and then the other thing was that the vegetation has to be maintained so that there's access. And if it's, because I'm worried that when it snows, that they're just gonna push the plow snow up against it and nobody can open the gate. And it doesn't really say, they just say they're not gonna lock it, but it doesn't say they're not gonna block it. So somehow make it so you can't block it by parking a car in front of it, dumping a load of dense grade in front of it, putting a plow of snow in front of it, because that's what will eventually happen. And they were the ones that said they weren't gonna lock it, that it was gonna, but they didn't say they weren't gonna block it. And the other thing is, the town at any time, if they deem it's necessary for public safety, that they can access through there because of during hurricanes that.
Oh, the
and it's
town
not
will
just
do that
public.
anyway, Maury. I don't think that needs to be.
Okay.
thing. I
Okay.
mean, as I always said, if the fire chief needs to get through there, he'll get through.
He'll get through there.
He'll get through there.
Okay,
He'll
all
take
right.
that big brush breaker and they'll make short work of that fat little gate.
Yep.
Go right
okay,
over
thank
it.
you.
So
That's all.
I'm not too worried about that.
Paul Broder told me that one time in no uncertain terms.
Oh,
Says
they'll go
if we
right
have to
through.
get through
there.
a gate, we'll get through.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not worried about that.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Melissa.
2 points. Actually, maybe 3. One is that there's a compelling argument about is it ADA accessible? I don't think the fence was wide enough for a wheelchair or a bike with a hanger on it, which would make the gate wider, which would then require them to actually go into the shrubbery that's already there. I don't know if we want to even talk about that. Secondly, if I was compelled by the argument that mentioned that, if that thing is there and blocked, that people will make other paths around it, which should actually be more damaging than just having the path as it were. I would think that if we just left the path as it were, then there'd be less damage to the Black Beach Marsh, because like Maury said, if they're going to, I mean, if they're gonna block it somehow, even though we say they can't block it, people are just gonna walk around it and trample through everything and hurt the wetlands even more. So I do find this to be harmful potentially to the wetlands. And then back to the design of the fence, they did have it being chain link going off to the sides and being a stockade gate. At least that's what their pictures were. I'd like to see it be in the spirit of the bike path itself, have it be just black chain link the whole thing, because I know that the bike path actually has regulations about what kinds of fences can go.
It's on private land though.
Yeah, but as far as the bike path has some kind of design continuation. But I'd like to see it be chain link as well, so that people can actually see through it. But I think this is just asking for a problem. I do like Maury's suggestions if we actually pass this to really to complicate matters for them, including the sign that says access to Black Beach.
I'm not trying to complicate it. It's just
Yeah, I know
that I just don't want it blocked.
Yeah, but having a sign that says access to Black Beach, if we can indeed do that, we could probably put that on the town bikeway.
We've already gone through that
We've already
discussion.
said that, and she has
I'll
to go
check
through
with
town
legal,
council.
Melissa.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
It's a legal
Okay, that's
question.
it.
I have to check with legal before I put it in this order.
Yep.
Just to keep us
Yeah,
above board.
The gate is ADA compliant. It's 4 foot.
it's 4 foot.
We
Thank you,
scaled it.
Maury, for looking at that. I didn't have the plan in front of me. Okay.
Courtney?
Yeah, to follow up on Melissa, I would say we should require that gate to be a minimum of 42 inches wide.
It's 4 foot.
That's
Yeah,
more than,
it is, Courtney. That's what somebody just,
Yeah,
Maury
it's
just
4
looked at
foot.
the plans.
how
48.
wide is it?
48 inches.
Okay.
Which is
That-
interesting because the path itself isn't 48 inches wide. So
Well, then
Second
that-
question, the second issue I think we need to address, which was addressed in the hearing, is the question of whether or not our bylaw preamble suggests or requires that we ensure access to our resources. And that became a question, and I think we owe it to the applicant and the people that were there to address that question. Personally, I think that makes a compelling argument that we should deny this.
I would agree with you, Courtney.
There's access all over the place. This is just one point of access.
I don't know how you
just
can,
to say it.
the town can't require access over private land. It has to there has to be a taking.
But
And
that land,
if in fact that land, if there is some legal way to say that it's an ancient right of way, or to say that people have passed back and forth over this 24/7, 365 for 50 years, then people can sue the homeowner who put this NOI in as it's
A prescriptive
legal.
right.
prescriptive right is a 20-year, isn't it? And then legal is
it's 20-year, but you have to sue. You can't say because we've done this, we have the right to do it. They're saying you don't have the right. The people who want the right have to sue to get that right.
the decision has already been made across the way for the what's now called Brick Hill Extension, which used to be called Little Black Bars Beach Road or whatever. It's morning, sorry. So the road actually goes through and across. So
I know
it is
that. I know
yeah.
that. But the fact is, if it's private property and you want to say, well, people have gone over that for 20 years, it hasn't been closed, you're the ones who have to sue. It's not
But-
the private property owner who says, oh yeah, people have done this, so we're gonna let people do it.
But is it part of the road layout is the question, as opposed to being private property?
It's a legal, it's a legal
legal
issue.
issue.
It's
Yeah.
not our
Yeah.
conservation
No.
issue.
Yeah, it's not ours.
Maury?
I was just gonna say it's a adverse possession or prescriptive right.
Right, that's
It's
the
a land
right.
court. It's a
Yeah.
land court. It's nothing to do with us. We can only look at the environmental impact. And that's all we can look at in our purview. It's frustrating,
Well,
but
yeah,
that's what it is.
We ran across this years ago over in West Falmouth off of Clifford,
Yep,
where there was a
path.
proposed driveway over someone's lawn. And to access a lot in between all these vernal pools, we pushed the driveway outside of the buffer, and I do believe the neighbor who had the lawn area,
Was
you
it-
know, basically won that adverse possession, prescriptive right, whatever, to keep his lawn and his driveway on his neighbor's property because it had been there for over 20 years. They went to land court over it.
Mhm.
So it can be done.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's civil. It's not
It's
a,
a civil matter. Unfortunately, it's a civil matter. And it breaks my heart to you know, to
And this is
allow
already
this, but we don't have any legal grounds not to allow it.
I'd like to go back to what Courtney
So-
was talking about.
so in other
Courtney.
words, what's in the preamble of our wetlands regulations doesn't apply here, is that what we're saying?
They can
What
go
it says
Black Beach.
is, it is the second paragraph of your
No,
bylaw.
go ahead, read it.
The bylaw. And in short, because it's quite lengthy, it says, in the Black Beach Great Sipawicet Marsh District of Critical Planning Concern, the following resource values are expressly protected. It lists a whole bunch of them, and then one of those expressly protected values is public access to water and land.
Okay,
And this fence then, between the
Because they-
fence and their security gate that they have up 3 months out of the year with the security guard, between the two of them, it will hinder access to it. And people will then find another way to get there. I mean,
Oh, they
because
will.
when Chappie parking lot is full, so you can't park there. You can't go in through Drift Road, and you can't go in from the bike path if people make it impossible to go through there. Then we've hindered access.
Hindering isn't the same as preventing access.
Well, imagine. I mean, we can't predict the future, but I think by not, oh, let me think about this. And
if I can
Courtney?
if I can follow up. I agree that in many respects, this is a land issue, ancient ways and all of that. And therefore the people who feel aggrieved by this should sue to do it. But I also look at our bylaw and the language is pretty specific about access. And I personally think that we could deny this on the basis of that.
Melissa?
the fact that the bylaw actually says Black Beach, it doesn't say Black Beach, Old Silver, Chappaquiddick, Bristol Beach, everywhere. It doesn't list all the beaches in town. It says Black Beach. I think that's pretty compelling.
It's the District of Critical Planning Concern, so it's the
Yes.
Black Beach / Great Sipawicet District of Critical Planning Concern. That's what it is referencing, that whole district.
Yeah. And this is in that district.
Maury?
So the ancient way has been brought to court, and all the people that had prescriptive rights over that were granted access over it. So that has already been hashed out in land court. That was like 18 or 20 years ago. And believe me, I am very upset about this whole thing as well. the fact that Chapcoit Road has a sidewalk, it is more inconvenient for people, and we understand that, but they can go down the bike path. The people that are using that are on the bike path. They're not looking for a parking space. They're already on the bike path. They walk up they cross the road onto a sidewalk. I know it's not the most safe place, but they walk down and then they have the right. Black Beach Hills and Drift Road are not private roads. Little Neck Bars is a private road. So we have not prevented access. The next thing that would probably be is going to become a problem is them at the entrance intimidating people with their gatehouse, their cones, and their police guard.
Mhm.
And that will have to be addressed again by some other body besides us, whether it's, you know, in the police department or the beach. I don't know who would do that, but
Police department, I've already called them on this issue a couple of years ago when the guard was searching
people's,
searching people's belongings. There was a complaint that was lodged to our office. So I contacted the former police chief. It is in writing. The town manager is aware of it. The new police chief is aware of it.
that's insane.
And they were told to stop that behavior.
And this is where maybe the sign on Chappaquoit Road that says public access to the DCPC Black Beach area to the public, and it's on town property. It informs people if the guard is there that he can't intimidate them, because the sign from the town will state that's the access to the DCPC and the Great Sepoysett Marsh and Salt Pond Area Bird Sanctuary property. But that's there, we haven't prevented. That's the problem, Court. If that gate was the only access and then they were going to end run everywhere else, but there isn't a feasible access, one that many people still use. Obviously, that's why they complained about being searched, because they were using that access. The gatehouse area should just be signage that informs the public, the DCPC, and maybe put our wetland reg number on it, whatever it is, FWR, whatever, that they can access through there. And maybe that will calm down the intimidation of the guard at the entrance. But and then and unfortunately it's the neighbors and the village associations and whatever are going to have to, the battle at the fence at the bike path we're not preventing access with that gate, because there's still access. That's the rub. Thank you.
All right. We ready for a vote? What are you thinking?
I'll make a motion to issue an order of conditions as discussed, as the plan was presented to us.
Bird second.
With the
All right.
conditions that the swing comes this way, the signs removed.
Correct, with all as discussed,
As
with all those
discussed.
Got it.
conditions.
All right, we have a motion and a second to issue an order of conditions as discussed. We're voting. Betsy,
Yes, aye. Gladfelter, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, no.
Matthews, aye. Kevin,
O'Brien, aye.
Maury,
Hello, Hawks Eye.
Melissa.
Fred Hogg, no.
All right, it is 4-2. The motion passes. We have issued an order of conditions. Thank
I like
you.
your idea, Maury, of putting or Jen, of putting a sign next to the gatehouse saying that this is, or next to the security house, saying that this is the public access. And if this fence gets out of control, then we should probably put parking spots down Drift Road.
All right, next up, vote amended order of conditions. Mario Kula and Josephine D'Angelo, 9 Sycamore Street, Falmouth, Mass. Jen?
This is the house on pilings on Sycamore. They needed to come in for an amended order to slightly reduce the square footage of the structure to get it at or below 20% lot coverage. So it's a very small change in the footprint to the house to get it below the zoning threshold of, it's 20%, right, Maury? 20% lot
Yes.
coverage.
Yes,
Yeah.
We issued an order of conditions before, we issued an amended before, we can issue an amended again. Was it one amended or two, Alyssa?
I believe it's only been amended once so far. This is the second.
So this is the second amendment.
I think so.
Okay.
And I believe, Jen, we also wanted that that step up, that concrete change in
Oh, the
elevation
slab,
to be
yes.
removed.
They
Eliminated.
have to bring that down to grade.
Is the driveway meant to be paved on that, or is it going to be strips,
Pavers.
pavers?
Oh, hang on, I'll try to find the plan.
Why do people do that in places like that?
Because you can't plow in the winter.
It is going to.
I mean, that's one of the
be-
reasons.
Yeah, I know. They just don't.
It
Yeah.
doesn't actually say, it looks.
It looks like pavement
It
to me.
looks-
It says pavers,
It does.
one of the little boxes.
Oh, got it. Paved Cape Cod berm. Then transition to pavers.
That's required by the town.
Yeah, the berm is
Solid up
required.
there.
Yeah, the berm is. Since it's a summer place, can we have them just do strips?
You have no idea whether
Yeah,
it's
I
always
know.
gonna be
I
a summer
get-
place.
I get it.
I'll make a motion to issue an order of conditions as discussed.
Bird second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to issue an order of condition, an amended order of conditions. Anything else? All right, we're voting. Betsy,
Gladfelter, aye.
Courtney,
Bird eye.
Matthews, aye, Kevin,
Brian, I.
Maury,
Carla Hawk's Eye.
Melissa.
I talk now. Oh yeah, excuse me.
All right, it is unanimous. We have issued an order of conditions. Thank you, everyone, for coming this morning. Happy holidays and all that. We'll see you next
as
week.
well.
We have one more motion.
Make a
I'll
motion
make
to
a
adjourn,
motion to
Howard.
adjourn.
Second, Fry talk.
Gladfelter, aye.
Bird eye.
Matthews, aye.
O'Brien, I.
Fry talk eye.
Carla Hawk's Eye. Sorry, I skipped.
Happy New
It is
Year,
unanimous.
everybody.
Happy New
We
Year.
have
Happy New Year.
adjourned.
New Year, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for
Good night,
coming in so
everybody.
early.
Good day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, good night.
Good day.
Good morning, everybody. Courtney, are
Morning.
we doing that race on Thursday? I mean, Sunday?
I'm gonna know this later on today, but I hope not. It looks ugly up on Saturday or Sunday.
Okay,
You know, I think he's gonna put it off, but I'll know today.
okay, let me know. I'm available
I'll let
next
you know
Sunday.
right away.
All right, bye.
Oh, hey, listen, one other thing, I know it's too late. I wonder if it makes sense in that, Black Beach thing to put
Can't do it anymore, Courtney.